Good evening and welcome to News 11. I'm Jovanina Vancheri.
And I'm Eric Cost. Tonight on News 11, a Fredonia Honor Society works with military moms to collect donations for deployed troops and millions of people under red flag warnings in California as high winds keep the fires burning, and an update on the Brexit process, new deadlines, and maybe some new faces.
But topping local news tonight, it's not every day that a local teacher wins one of America's most famous awards. But in Fredonia, that just may be the case. Kevin Syracuse has more.
The Halloween parade in Fredonia wasn't just a time for the kids to celebrate. It was also a time for the village to celebrate the accomplishments of Fredonia High School's band director, Andrew Bennett. Bennett is a semifinalist for a Grammy this year and says that this is a very special opportunity.
So I'm very honored that I have been recognized as a semifinalist for this year's Grammy Music Educator of the Year Award. This means I'm down to the final 25.
As you can imagine, being nominated for a Grammy is not easy to do.
This year there were 3,300 nominations. From that, they chose 220 quarterfinalists. From that list of 220, they narrowed it down to 25. January, they're going to narrow it down to 10, and then after that, there will be only one.
Both students and faculty think that Mr. Bennett is a perfect choice for this award.
Mr. Bennett is probably the best band conductor ever. He really cares for each of his students. He wants to help them thrive. He knows how to help, and he's always there for everyone.
Oh, just fantastic. I can't think of a better person. He's one of our top teachers and just has a great heart.
In addition, Fredonia has just been recognized as one of the best communities for music education in the United States for the 7th straight year, thanks in large part to the work done by Bennett.
Well, Mr. Bennett has been a fantastic addition to the Fredonia High School. Since he's been at our school, he's really made band and music in general a real family and community event.
We will know by early January if Bennett makes the top 10, and then the final winner will be announced on January 26th in Los Angeles. Kevin Syracuse, News 11.
And this is just the 7th year the Grammys have included this award, and already the 2nd time a Chautauqua County music teacher has been nominated. Kent Knappenberger won the inaugural award in 2014.
You might notice something different along some sections of Lake Erie and Dunkirk. Last Sunday, October 27th, strong storm surges caused a lot of damage to the area. In the city of Dunkirk, there was major damage on the retaining wall along Lakefront Boulevard. The storm caused wave surges to push the top blocks of the wall almost a foot higher than they originally sat. There will be emergency funds used to repair the wall once the next storm passes through. The Department of Public Works asks that everyone stay away from the cap blocks to avoid injury.
Tau Sigma raised donations for deployed troops this holiday season. I went to the event to learn more. Fredonia students and community members came together on a chilly fall Saturday to support deployed troops. Tau Sigma Honor Society partnered with the Blue Star Mothers of Jamestown to collect donations at Walmart in Fredonia. The group was collecting both monetary donations and items such as deodorant, hand sanitizer, and batteries. The Transfer Student Honor Society hosts this event annually as a community service opportunity. However, for some of the members, the cause hits closer to home.
Yeah, I have some veterans, like my grandpa is a veteran and one of my cousins is in my family, yeah.
Some have almost been deployed themselves.
I have several family members who have been in the military and currently are. Several of my friends from high school are in the Marines right now, Army, Navy, and Air Force, I believe all branches. I was also in boot camp.
With the money and items raised on Saturday, the Blue Star Mothers will create care packages to send to the troops for the holiday season.
You know, they just do so much for us. You know, they're sacrificing years of their life to be over there. Some of them sacrifice way more, and so anything we can do to help them out.
Last year, the Honor Society was able to send over 1,000 care packages across seas. Reporting from Fredonia, Jovanina Vancheri, News 11. For more information about how to donate, visit www.bluestarmotherswny.com.
Music students can expect an increased police presence in Mason Hall in the coming weeks. Trash can fires are the cause of the heightened security. The fires, which enrollment and student services say have been set intentionally, have, quote, created a safety risk to members of our community and may lead to significant damage in Mason Hall. In addition to collaboration with outside police agencies, more video surveillance equipment will be utilized and footage scrutinized. If you have a tip for University Police, please contact them at the number below, or submit a silent witness report at fredonia.edu/UPD.
Finally, in local news, tonight is Halloween, and in the spirit of this spooky season, some Fredonia students decided to share a popular tradition with students from around the world.
The Office of International Student Services for over 10 years has been organizing a pumpkin carving event.
We do this every year. It's a hit. Students love it. It's something that they don't get to experience in their home countries.
This Halloween-themed event allows students in Fredonia abroad the opportunity to experience Halloween traditions within our culture.
In my country, they not really do. Even when I carving the pumpkin in my country, they gonna look so weird, think why he do like that, but in here, you can free to do. This is great.
Having over 200 students living in Fredonia abroad, merging American tradition with their home countries allows for new fun experiences and a widespread knowledge of our culture. This specific event is unique within the Office of International Student Services as it is open to all students.
If you are interested in learning more about the International Student Services, be sure to check out their coffee talks every Wednesday at 4 p.m. in the International Lounge.
At these weekly events, the office provides free coffee and donuts and encourages students to come with thrilling discussion topics. From Fredonia, I'm Sydney Mack with News 11.
Thank you, Sydney. This American holiday is widely known in other countries, but not as widely celebrated. So this event did a great job at blending different cultures together. Coming up after the break, a tragedy at a Halloween party in California, where wildfires also run rampant and hospitals face a dilemma. Plus, a look at the weather. We'll be back. 3 people are dead and 9 are injured after a shooting at a Halloween party Tuesday night, October 29th. It took place at a home in Long Beach, California, where a group of 25 to 30 co-workers were having a costume party. Reports say the shooter, who wore dark clothing and concealed his face, fired, quote, indiscriminately into the crowd. Investigators are still searching for a suspect.
California is also facing another round of wildfires right now. The largest wildfire of the year continues in the northern part of the state. Located in Sonoma County, the Kincade Fire has burned an area twice the size of San Francisco and has been active for 6 days. The county sheriff's office issued a red flag warning. Warm temperatures, low humidity, and high winds. The blaze has destroyed more than 200 buildings and another 100,000 are at risk. According to Pacific Gas and Electric, more than 350,000 homes currently don't have power. But this isn't the only blaze tearing across the state. While winds have died down in Northern California and the Kincade Fire is 60% contained, the wind has picked up in the southern part of the state. On and on Wednesday, another fire that started burned 1,500 acres coming with 100 yards of Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. At least 2 more fires started earlier today. The Hillside Fire started near San Bernardino early this morning and has already burned 200 acres and destroyed 6 homes.
In late September, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced a formal impeachment inquiry into President Trump. This is going to be a long and slow process that will stretch into election year. According to the Associated Press, here are the latest and most important details. Earlier today, House Democrats voted formally for the first time on a list of ground rules for their inquiry. 2 House Democrats broke ranks and voted against these ground rules. And top White House official Tim Morrison testified that he didn't think President Trump's phone call with Ukraine was illegal. He stepped down from the National Security Council the day before testifying.
Hospitals across the country might have a problem on their hands. Several plants that sterilize surgical tools have shut down. The reason? Sterilization plants use a gas called ethylene oxide. It sterilizes equipment but poses a harm at high levels. The FDA says dangerous levels of this gas may even cause cancer. This could cause a shortage of supplies that are needed for heart surgery, knee replacements, and more. The FDA will hold a meeting next month to discuss new sterilization techniques. Hope Winter joins us now to talk a little bit about the weather for the next few days. Hope, it looks like the classic Western New York fall weather has caught up with us. We even have a leak in our studio that we discovered this afternoon. So.
I know. And sadly, I don't think it's gonna hold up for this tonight.
Really?
I know. So hi guys, I hope you guys planned your Halloween costumes with a hood or an umbrella because it looks like this rain won't lighten up for tonight's festivities. We also will be experiencing a high wind warning lasting up until 1 p.m. tomorrow. Tomorrow, the rain will let up, but the temperatures are going to drop pretty low with a high of 44 degrees. Saturday, the rain will be returning to us with a high of 51 degrees. Then, on Sunday, there's a 40% chance of rain lasting all day with a high of 43 degrees. This weekend will be a perfect time to get your scary movie fix in because, unfortunately, it looks like it will most likely be raining for the majority of the weekend.
Okay, thank you, Hope. Not the best forecast, but what can you do? When we come back, your international headlines, unrest in the Middle East, and another step taken in the Brexit issue, plus a look at sports. We'll be back.
I'll be right back.
Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
I realized that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listened.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS, died in a U.S. Special Forces raid in Syria on Saturday night, October 26th. Once U.S. troops arrived at the compound, they cornered al-Baghdadi in dead-end tunnel. The ISIS leader detonated his suicide vest, killing himself and 3 children. President Trump stated, quote, "He died like a dog, he died like a coward," end quote. U.S. troops captured 2 ISIS combatants and brought 11 children into custody. There were no American casualties.
Anti-government protests in Iraq are gaining momentum. Tens of thousands of people are gathering across the country protesting deteriorating living conditions, unemployment, and corruption. Prime Minister of Iraq, Adel Abdul-Mahdi, is under extreme pressure to resign. On Wednesday, 60 protesters were injured when tear gas was thrown into the crowd by security forces in Tahrir Square, in the heart of Baghdad. The square is believed to be the epicenter of the protests. According to BBC News, a total of 74 people were killed and 3,500 others were injured Tuesday, October 29th. A total of 240 people have been killed since the protests began on October 1st.
Thank you, Ericketta. In Britain, today is the day everyone in the UK has been talking about, the day that the UK leaves the European Union, except they haven't left yet. They haven't left because Parliament didn't agree on a deal earlier in the month. This made the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, ask for another extension to Brexit. The EU agreed on a flex tension with the deadline of January 31st. So what's the difference between this and a regular extension? A flex tension doesn't simply mean that the UK has a hard deadline of January 31st. It gives the UK the option to reach a deal and leave earlier. This means the UK has 2 so-called breakpoints, December 1st and January 1st. So, if Parliament can work together to reach a deal, they can leave the EU before the end of January. During this extension period, there will be no renegotiating, and the UK still has the ability to revoke Brexit altogether. With the flex tension in place, Boris Johnson has called a general election, which was approved by the House. This election means that new MPs can be elected to sit in the House of Commons, but it also means a new Prime Minister could be elected. The election will take place on December 12th. And this election means that Boris Johnson could be replaced as Prime Minister. If that were to happen, the UK would have its 4th Prime Minister in 4 years. The election will take place on December 12th. But Kevin Syracuse joins us now for a look at Fredonia sports. Kevin, what's new and exciting this week?
Anita, the Fredonia men's soccer team needed 2 wins and some help last weekend in order to clinch a playoff berth. They won both games but did not get the help that they needed, as Brockport took the 6th and final playoff spot in the SUNYAC tournament. In Friday's 1-0 win over Oswego, Matt Bellardi scored the game-winning goal. In Saturday's 2-1 victory over Cortland, Kevin Loftus scored the first Blue Devil goal, while Jackson Redser netted the game-winning goal. The Blue Devils finished the season 3-4-2 in conference play and 7-7-4 overall. Bellardi, Ty Bentham, Jack Ribicki, Conrad Rathbun, and Chad Gilson were wearing the blue and white for the final time. All 5 were recognized, along with their parents, during a pregame ceremony. The women's soccer team also fell just short of the playoffs last weekend as they lost to Cortland on Saturday, 2-1 in overtime. The women did defeat Oswego 2-1 on Friday, but Saturday's loss dropped the Blue Devils to 3-4-2 in the conference and 6-9-2 overall. They finished in 7th place with 11 points, 1 point behind 6th-placed Oneonta. The Blue Devils dressed just 2 seniors all season, 4-year player and co-captain Shania Platt, and 2019 leading scorer Melanie Manati, who finished with 7 goals and 15 points. And finally, for the first time in franchise history, the Washington Nationals are World Series champions. Down 2-0 in the 7th inning in last night's Game 7, the Nationals scored 3 runs in the 7th inning, 1 more in the 8th, and 2 in the 9th to win the winner-take-all game, 6-2. Patrick Corbin was a winning pitcher, while Steven Strasburg was named World Series MVP. Strasburg was 2-0 with a 2.51 ERA, and he also won Games 2 and a pivotal Game 6.
Wow, no Bills update this week?
I can give you guys one if you want one, but I think time will not allow it tonight. But a big game this week against Washington. They're coming off a loss to Philly, so hopefully we can get back in the win column.
And you are going, so you'll have to report on that next week. Well, thank you, Kevin. And we're going to have one last break, and when we come back, we'll have another look at this week's weather and some more odd news stories.
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
I realized that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Would you learn how to drive a car if it meant getting Fruit Loops? A study conducted by researchers at the University of Richmond placed two groups of rats in different environments to compare how well the rats drove tiny cars when they are mentally stimulated. One group of rats were in a typical lab rat environment, while another group was in a simulated environment involving toys. Then they looked at how well they drove the mini cars and compared their stress levels. All the rats had higher levels of anti-stress hormone.
And finally, in the spirit of Halloween, a bold display at a home in Utah. One family has a guillotine chopping off the heads of baby dolls as part of their decorations. But it doesn't stop there. The lawn display has a bloody nurse standing over a baby incubator holding baby parts. Many community members are upset, but the Brigham City attorney says the display is not a public nuisance. Well, that was an interesting selection of stories, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like it should be illegal to have those kinds of displays in the front of your home.
Maybe.
It's pretty terrifying, but we're going to go on over to Hope Winter for another look at our weather this week. Hope.
Hello again. For the next week, our temperatures will begin to drop into that cold fall weather we haven't really experienced yet. And I'm sorry to say, but on Thursday we may see our first snowfall of the season. This weekend, we will be experiencing a weekend of rain. Saturday, we'll have a high of 44 degrees, and Sunday, we'll have a high of 51 degrees. Monday, we will have a break from the rain and a partly cloudy day with a high of 52 degrees. Then, Tuesday, the rain will join us again, lasting up until Thursday, where we might see that white stuff that we've been dreading. So make sure you guys bundle up this weekend and bring an umbrella.
Alright, well that just about does it for us this Halloween on News 11. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to our crew here in the studio and everyone in the control room. Patrick and I will be back next week with more news. Have a fun and safe Halloween.